Okay, so we've just uploaded and handed in version 1 to the tutor. Let's go back to our work. Let's have a look at our Word document. And while we look at the Word document, we look at our handout for step 3, and we'll see what the instructions tell us. So now it says, now you will update your document as version 2. So we're going to create this turn this into version 2. It says, do not start a new Word document. It says it in red and in capitals. So we don't need to start a new document. We'll use the information that we have here to create our version 2. So the first thing we need to do is save the document as the same name, but change version 1 to version 2 inside the same folder. That's going to be very easy. What we do is we go to File, then we go to Save As, and we go to Browse. Because this is the same session, Word will go back to the folder that we last saved in, and we can see the version that we are currently working on. But we want to change the version to number 2. So we're going to click where it says 1, delete 1, and call it 2. And that will give us a new document called version 2 with all the same information inside. So now we have 2 documents. We have the boring one, and then we have the one that we're going to make much more interesting and save a little later. But we do need to make a few changes here. So this is now Hobby or Interest number 1, version 2. So we'll change again that to say version 2. Just make sure these little changes are made so that we know that we're using version 2 now, okay? And it also tells us that up in the title bar where we've saved. So make sure you check those 2 things to make sure that you've updated your information. Now, we need to make this look much more interesting. If we look on the instructions, it says, make the following updates. It says, make the title at least font size 20, bold, and a nice color. It says, use at least 2 font sizes throughout the document, font formatting, colors, and at least 2 images. At least 1 alignment to the center or right, and appropriately placed bullet points. So there we have it. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to do these bullet points. I'm going to do some bullet points here. And also what we can do is we can use a reference material, because I did leave an example of the work, a finished version of my poster. So we can go and have a quick look at that, shall we? Let's have a quick look. There it is. So we click on here. And this is what I want this to look a bit like, okay? It won't look exactly the same, but very similar. I'll use the same images and the same headings. I'll center the headings, I think. These little headings, I make them a bit larger than the main text. But yeah, it's going to essentially look like this. I think that looks really nice. Okay, and there's some bullet points here, but I think I'm going to put bullet points at the top on my list, which I didn't put on this one. So I'm going to have a list of 5 facts, which are bullet point as well. So let's go back to the document here, and we've got our 5 facts. So let's start with the bullet points for these. Yeah. So first of all, we go here and we highlight what it is that we want to bullet point. Then we go to the paragraph group and we go to bullet points, and that's done, just like that. Then we want to make this heading bold. So let's make that bold. So we can see that this is introducing us to this list. If we go back to the instructions, it says that we need to make the title at least font size 20. I'll use Arts and Craft as a title of the poster. So I want it to be 20, so I can click here and let's see what 20 is like. Well, that's hardly enough. So I'm going to make it much bigger. So I'm going to go to the large arrow and click, click, click. Look at that. Oops, too big. How about that? Nice and big. Right, I'm going to make it bold as well. And there you go. And I'm not sure if you remember on the previous one, I made it with a kind of like a reflection, which I think looks really cool. Let me show you. This has a nice little reflection at the bottom. Look at that. So that's very stylish. And I like the color purple. So I'm going to go back to my document and I'm going to do that. I'll show you how I did that. So here, I've got it highlighted. Let me just do it again. So I highlight the text. Okay. And then I go to here. And this is called the text effects and typography. So if I click on that, I'm going to click on the drop arrow, and it gives me a palette of different styles that are preset. And as I go over them, you see that it changes my title. But you can, if you look over here, you can see the reflection. So I'm going to click on the reflection here. And there I got my reflection. It's taking away my bold, so I'll make it bold again. I like it bold. And it's got the right, I love that color. So we keep that color, okay? And then we need to start giving it some subheadings that we're going to make bold, and we're going to bring in some pictures. So let's do the subheadings first. I'm going to go back to my reference page just to have a look, and you can do the same thing. You can look at the example I've given. It says, why arts and crafts? So why arts and crafts? That's a good question, because it's very relaxing. That's why. Let's go back, and it says arts and crafts. I'm going to click here, press enter. I'm going to add my own title here. Why arts and crafts? And put a question mark. And I'm going to make that bold. And I'm going to make this size. I'm going to actually use the arrow just to make it bigger so I can eyeball it and see what size. I think 16 is a bit too big. No, 16 is all right. Let's have it as 16. Why not? So I'm going to have it as 16. I'm going to make it bold. And I want it to be a similar color as the title. So I'm going to change the font color, use the arrow, and I look down here and I can see it's got like a purple here. So I think that should be enough. Yep, that looks about right. It's a bit paler. I want it to be a bit richer. So I'm going to go back and see if I can get something a bit more. Okay, let's try the darker one. No, that's too dark. Almost looks black. See, we can play around. I'm going to go back to the last one I chose. Let's settle with that. All right, so we've done that. And I also want this to be centered, because it does say that we need to use an alignment, whether it be a center or a right align. So I'm going to do that for my subheadings. So you can do that for your paragraphs if you want. You can do what you like. This is how I'm doing it. You can follow along with my style. There you go. So that's nice and centered. So I use an alignment. Now, I don't want to repeat searching for the changes I made to this and then add it to this next heading. It would take too long. I have to look for the size. Which size did I use? What color was that I chose? So there's a little trick I can show you. Watch this. I'm going to click inside the text that has the formatting that I want to copy. And then I'm going to go up here to this brush. It's called the Format Painter. I'm going to click on that. And then when I come back to my document, you'll see that I've got a little brush with me. And if I click beside and highlight the heading that I want to change to match that one above, I click on that, let go, and look. It's exactly the same. And I can do the same thing again. Let's see, are there any more? Just the one. Yeah. Okay, so we've got one more to do. So I'm going to click again. Click on the Format Painter. Actually, click inside the font, inside the text that has a formatting that I want. And I click on the Format Painter. And then I go down to this one and highlight it and let go. And look at that. That's a time saver, isn't it? All right, we're almost there now. This isn't taking too long at all. A few pictures and we're done. I want this to be bigger. The document title. So I'm going to make that bigger, just a bit bigger, so we know what it's about. I think that's nice. And then I think we are done. No, let's make this bold. The elements, let's make that bold. I did say we'll make this into a bullet point here, and that should be, now I know I'm doing this in England, so C-O-L-O-U-R. That's correct there. Yeah, if I was in America, then I'll leave it as it is, but I'm in England, so. And if you're watching this and you're American, then obviously you can leave it as you like. All right, so let's make the bullet points for this one. So we're going to put some bullet points on it. So we go up here to the paragraph group and we click on bullets. And that's that. Excellent. I think we've done great here. All right. So far we've done all the changes we need. Let's go and reference our example and see if there's anything else we need to consider before we bring the pictures in. I'm looking down and I think that this looks mighty fine. Oh, look, I made this a purple color. And I like that. So I'm going to make this purple as well. So I'm going to go back to my document and make this purple. That's the thing, you can have fun with it. I think that's the right choice. So I'll make this purple as well and make it a bit bigger. So I'm going to go here, make it a bit bigger, and I'll make it purple. And there you go. Look at that. Oops, the purple's lighter than that one, isn't it? I'm very picky, you know, by the way. I want to go back and make it nice and dark. I think I have to choose this one. There you go. I think that matches. And that's that. So all we need to do now is put some images in. So let's go to Google and Google Images and grab some images to bring them into our document. So we go back to the browser. We click on the plus. We leave our work open so we can hand it in when we're finished. So we don't close this. We click on the plus to get ourselves another page. We're in Google, but we need to see the word images here so that Google search for images specifically. So we go to images up here on the right hand side, and then I'm going to put in art paintbrush, art paintbrush. I think that would be nice. Let's see if we can get what we had before. Here we go. Okay, yep, this will do here. So we click on the thumbnail. These are thumbnails, just giving you previews of various different images. So we click on that first, and then we right click on the actual image itself. I just warn you that these are licensed images, so you can't use them to promote your work or to sell. You know, this is if you're going to be using it for working class and it stays there within the class for your teacher to see, then I think that it should be fine. But if you want to try and sell work outside of class, it's not a good idea because this is somebody else's work, okay? So we right click on it and we go down to copy image. So we go to copy image. And once we go to copy image, we go back to our Word document. I'm going to demonstrate with one, and then I'll let you do the rest yourself. And I want this to be at the top like we saw in the example. So I think it should be just before the 5 interesting facts. Something to pop, make us interested in what's coming next. So I made a little space, I clicked here, and I pressed enter a few times. And then I'm going to go to paste. And we don't need to use the arrow here. We can just click on paste and it brings in the image. Now the image is massive and puts everything down. So to show some of our skill, what we should do is click on the image and we can make it smaller. And there we go. And that's it. We can delete the spaces. How does that look? I think it looks a bit, I think it could be placed in a better position. I think it should be not here, but in amongst this text like a magazine. So let's put this image in amongst this text here, okay? So to do that, we can use the wrap feature. If I click on the image, you'll see it highlights and you'll see that this contextual menu pops up. This menu was not there just now, but as soon as I clicked on it, this menu popped up. I'll show you again. If I click away, it disappeared. But if I click on the picture again, it pops up. And what this is saying to us is, if you want to have a ribbon that is entirely dedicated to transforming or formatting an image, then click on here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on here and see what it brings on the ribbon. I clicked on it and the ribbon is entirely about formatting an image. And if you look over here, you can see it says wrap text, okay? It also shows you that here, when you click on the image, you can actually go to the wrap text from here. But I thought it'd be interesting for you to see all the changes that you can make to an image using this ribbon here, all right? So let's go to wrap text. So we click on here and I'm going to say square. So I say square. I prefer square. You can choose which one you want. And once you do that, it allows you to move the image around the document or the poster. So I'm going to click on the image and drag. And as you see, the text starts to fall around. So I don't want it up there. I want it to come down lower and to be placed around here. No, I'm going to do it in the beginning. I think like that. About there. So about arts and crafts. So that's our first one. So we've done that. I'm going to bring in a few more images related to this poster and hopefully it will jazz things up a bit. All right, so I'll see you in a few moments. Okay, welcome back. I'm just about to paste the last image in. There you go. I'll just position it here. Yeah, it's the right size. I like this. It's a good size. All right. And if you look, I've already pasted this Mandela image in. But the only thing about this I don't like is that the information starts on one page, continues on the other. It looks a bit disjointed. So I want this to begin on the second page, all right? So how we do that is if we click at the end of the last paragraph, okay, and we want to have a break between this page and the next page, and it will force this onto the following page. So to do that, on your keyboard, you hold the Control key and tap Enter for a soft break. And you can see it looks like everything's disappeared, but it's jumped down to the page below. And there you go. So I can just, whoops, and there you go. So it starts on the second page, which is much tidier, don't you think? Yeah, I like that. All right, wonderful. So that's it. So let's tidy this up. Let's bring this up a bit higher. Or actually, I think this should be purple as well, now I think about it. Let's go here, click on here, and we go to purple. That's better. Should kind of match, I think. Maybe it should be a little bit bigger as well. There you go. Same. Oh, change the color. See, it's so fiddly, isn't it? Okay, even I can make mistakes, but there you go. There you go. It's the same now. Let's just check everything's okay. Everything's the same. I think this one's actually different as well, so I'm going to change that. I'm a very fussy guy, you know. Once I do things, I want them to be just right. It'll bother me. There you go. Now it's all the same. And there we have it. We have done our poster. Look at that. It looks terrific, don't you think? I think this needs to come up. So if you want the text to move upwards and you've got this space, you can click it where you want to delete the space and then press delete on your keyboard. It will delete the line below. One more time. But that will then affect our work further down. But because we put a page break, it didn't have a direct effect. If you hadn't put a page break, then this would have just jumped straight back up again. So that's why page breaks are really nice to have in your document. So there we are. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to look at your stand back like it's a piece of art, and you want to stand back and look at everything, you can actually hold Control on your keyboard and roll the roller on your mouse backwards and forwards, and it will zoom in and out. I'm going to hold Control and roll back, and there you go. See, now I've got the two pages in front of me, and I think that looks really nice. I'm very happy with that. So we just need to do the last thing that is instructed of us on our step 3. And what does it say? Oh, there's some bonuses that we can do, but I will not do those just yet. I will do those in the bonus video. So for now, we're going to hold Control down and tap S just to save our work. And then we're going to upload and hand in our work to the tutor, and they will be tickled pink. So let's do that now. So we go back to the browser. We look for the little icon here that shows us that this is our class that we didn't close, see? And now we're ready to upload our work. So we just go to Add, File, and then, yep, Browse. And it's going to take us back to where we had already uploaded our work from. That's right, Hobby or Interest 1 folder. And this is version 2 that we've just saved. So click on that. And then all we need to do is click on Open. And the work is uploaded. Here it is. And that is wonderful. So we can click on the preview and have a quick look, make sure everything's as it should be. And that's it. Ain't that great? We spoke about it and now we finished it. Well done. You should give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, so we finished our work. We finished the handout. This is 1 of 3. The challenge is to do 3 of these. So based upon your 3 hobbies. This is number 1. Feel free to go ahead and do number 2 and 3. That will be good practice for you. But the next video I will do is how to add borders and some extra things like the links where we got the information from, etc. But in the meantime, this is perfectly fine. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.